question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hello everyone, welcome to The Outsiders. I'm your host, Sean Sims. I'm with my superstar co-host, Marvin Doc Cheatham, on location. Doc,
happy holiday and season greetings to everyone.
It's been a crazy week, a lot going on, and I'm going to do it right off the bat. We are going to be talking about our Ravens and our Royals and a relief pitcher we got picked up and what happened this past week, what's been going on in Baltimore. This is the Baltimore edition of The Outsiders, and I just want to go over this. This is I guess this is a clip. Well, of course we have the mayor's race and Sheila Dixon getting the Banks report. Oh, we will have the Banks report later on as well. But Sheila Dixon, who's running for mayor, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play that actually a little bit later about I guess how people feel about what's going on with Ms. Dixon and her situation running for mayor. So I'm going to play that a little bit later. But Doc, what do you think of these Ravens? They had a weekend. I mean, they had a week off. Okay, they had some time off, a little banged up, and we've got the Rams coming up, who aren't playing that well, former Super Bowl champs a few years back. How do you think they're going to do? Because we always start off with the sports.
I really think, barring any major injuries, they should do extremely well. I think an asterisk that would help us, and yes, I say us because I am a Raven and Oriole fan. I think the thing that would help us is to get home field advantage. There is a little asterisk that teams that seemingly go all the way through to the Super Bowl, normally there's a high propensity for them to get games when they don't have to play when the other teams are playing. So I think it would behoove us to do all that we can, including prayer, to hope and pray that we get, I guess, the number one seed in the NFC, or not the NFC, the AFC, because that does help. That does help. Barring injuries, we should go quite far. But it would help us if we did get the top seed.
I agree. That's actually going to be, that's really needed because the way the Ravens are playing, they seem to be, I mean, they're 9-3, but they tend to lose to teams for whatever reason they should definitely not be losing to. I don't know why this happens. It's like they get up for the game and for whatever reason, They just blow it with these teams that they should be beating. And what do you think of the pickup? We got this guy from the Cubs. He's supposed to be like a stud reliever to make up for our loss of the Mountain.
Well, I have one prejudice when it comes to what the Orioles need. Yes, they need a pitcher. Definitely since the Mountaintop won't be with us next year. But my question is, because I think one of our shortcomings in picking up recruits is I think we need a left-handed pitcher.
No, I agree.
I don't know what this guy is, but I'm going to be consistent. I'm very prejudiced to left-handers because I am one, but the Orioles need good left-hand pitching.
I agree wholeheartedly. Whether we're going to get, I mean, we had John Means. Then he got hurt. Then I guess he had somewhat of a comeback towards the latter part of the year. So I don't know. We'll see how that's going to go. But what's going on in Baltimore and the things that are going on in Baltimore, Maryland, with the mayor's race, the crime, and there was a breakfast this past Saturday, and the Black Men Unifying Black Men had a breakfast, and I think it went pretty well. I think the guys showed a lot of camaraderie. How do you think that breakfast went, Doc?
Well, I'm hoping and praying for more, but I hasten to commend Mike Johnson, Bill Gooden, and David Murphy for the continuance of doing this every month for almost 3 years. It might be even more than 3 years.
I see where you're going.
Every Saturday, I commend them. But I'm not totally satisfied that I think we can and must do more bringing those men together. And I was very, very well pleased and satisfied that I was enabled to open up the meeting Saturday with bringing up a request for a state emergency as relates to encouraging men to get involved with our youth in Baltimore City. Whether you go to a church, you go to a mosque, whether you're in an athletic club or whatever it is as a male, and it was very well received. We're asking men every week to donate no less than 2 hours a day, whether it's at a church, a rec center, something that you can do with our children. And we're going to have a major press conference on December the 19th at 11 a.m. But I'll go into that a couple days when we get a little bit closer. But I'm real encouraged with the Black Men group that is coming. I'm just hoping they can and will do more. The food is good, it's free, and all you got to do is donate. But I'm hoping we can do more and get more active.
Well, I was there as well, and I thought it went well. Edwin Avant, the CEO of the Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys, was there. He spoke as well, and he made a good point, and I think it was actually a really good point. The fact that you have the black young men out here, kids, knocking people upside the head, doing all kinds of wrong, stealing cars, and just terrorizing people, that is a blight. That is a bad look for the black community, because what it says is, hey, black men, you can't keep your kids in check? What's going on here? And Edwin made a very good comment and insightful, because he said that if, first of all, he believes, and I believe right along with him, that probably 80%, 85% of those young men can't read. There's an issue with the education system. They can't read. Now, if you can read and you can write, then you have places that you can go. You can go through the school system. You can do your homework, perform your assignments, graduate from elementary, junior high, high school, then go on to college. But if you can't read, none of that's going to happen. As far as you're concerned, the only thing that you really can do is steal, cheat, take from other people. Do whatever it is you can to survive, because you're in survival mode. You're not in a mode where you're looking to graduate and get a job, per se, because you're having difficulty or you can't read at all because of this education system. And that's where Dr. Mengele, and that's why I call her Dr. Mengele, Sonia Santelises, the CEO of the Baltimore City school system, what she has done by not making sure that those young black men can read, that they can read, that the kids can read, the children can read in elementary school, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds who start out, and making sure that they connect with the parents, and making sure that the parents and the kids are connected, and that they interact, and that they're involved in their child's education. And I'm talking from day one. I'm talking from kindergarten, first grade. Did she do all of this? No, she didn't. She should have been fired years ago. So you got Dr. Mengele because of what Dr. Mengele did in those Nazi death camps with the experiments on children. And that's what she's done with these experiments on children in the school system. in the school system. Now you have a lost generation of young black men in Baltimore City, and a lot of it has to do with the education system and the CEO, Dr. Sonia Santelises. Doc, I'm ranting a little bit because I could go on and on and on about this.
But your points are so valid. And, you know, the thing that troubles me the most as we enter the end of this calendar year, you know, if we were to say what was one, if not the greatest failures, but a significant failure this year, I think we would be hard-pressed not to say the failure in education. And who do we put that responsibility and blame on? First and foremost, of course, it's the CEO.
Yes.
But who is rubber stamping her? And that is the mayor.
Yes, he is.
And I'm saying if Santa Claus or Kwanzaa, whoever the person is or the item is that brings good cheer for us for the next year, the good cheer should be a new mayor and a new CEO.
Not only just a new mayor, because this jagoff, Brandon Scott, and I'll tell you a story. My wife just told me this story last night. She told me this story as I was putting together my notes for the show. She said that there was a rant that went on for several minutes on her way to work. This, I guess, young man just started out of nowhere talking about Brandon Scott. She said he dropped the F-bombs and S-bombs and this bomb, called him everything but a child of God, said, Brandon Scott, I tell you, the mayor, Brandon Scott, ain't nothing. He's blah, blah, bleep, 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 bleep. And she said everybody around just stopped and looked. No one said, hey, you're wrong. No one said, no, he's actually an excellent mayor. No one did. No one said that. And that's not the only time I've heard about this. Other people have been telling me all over Baltimore at the barbershop. Huh, TJ? The barbershop? He stole that from me, talking about the barbershop. No, I brought that up. I talk about the barbershop because that's where the guys really talk and they say what's really on their mind. And it was the same way.
You get the rest of the story is at the barbershop.
At the barbershop. And it was the same way. They were calling Brandon everything but a child of God. They were ripping and tearing him up because as a mayor, he is horrific. He's horrifically bad, arrogant, and Slim Shady, BGE, backdoor deal, everybody's BGE bills going up. Hey, thank Brandon Scott. Hey, when you go to the lever, go to the vote and pull that lever and you see Brandon's name, just think of your bills. Think of your BG&E bills, your electric bills, and gas and electric bills going up. You can thank Brandon Scott, okay? You can thank him. So what's going on with Brandon Scott? And my other point, and I want to make this perfectly clear, it's not just Brandon Scott. It is that sewer cesspool mill. I call it a cesspool. You have a dead pool, you have an office pool. It's a cesspool. It's called the Baltimore City Council. Yeah, it's a cesspool where people pull from that cesspool. Usually it's the president of the Baltimore City Council. And there's some past presidents and mayors that are excluded. But recently, last 20 years or so, you pull from that cesspool. And who do we get as mayor? We get somebody from the cesspool. Sheila, she was from the cesspool. Should not be let back in. Okay, Brandon's from the cesspool. Brandon's done nothing in his life but brown nose. Okay, Stephanie Rawlings Blake from the cesspool. Okay, to a certain extent, of course, Catherine Pugh from the cesspool. And you get all these people from the cesspool. It's the Baltimore City Council. Do not put anyone from the Baltimore City Council back in that office, at least now until they prove themselves, and they certainly have not. Let's stop looking at the cesspool. Okay, graduates. I call them the graduates from the cesspool. Stop looking at them, people, and start looking at someone who's on the outside, who's not from the cesspool. Put them in the mayor's office.
Something from the past is haunting us. It's like towards the night before Christmas and the horror story that they always give you, there was the ghost of Christmas. Well, I think the ghost of Christmas for 2023 is Martin O'Malley in the Hilton Hotel. the Hilton Hotel is coming back to haunt us.
Oh man, that. I guess that's some inside stuff. You people, I guess, understand. I'm not going to get into it. I know what you're talking about. But again, cesspool. We keep picking from this Baltimore City Council. I'm going to quickly talk about somebody from the Baltimore City Council because I want to put this out. Yitzi Schleifer. Hey, listen up, Yitzi. Okay. There was a point in time earlier this year where the former commander of a district where a known terrorist criminal organization within the police, the Gun Trace Task Force, okay, and this person over this district, who was the commander, said, oh, I don't know anything about them, didn't know any of that was going on. And the terrorist activities within the police that they were responsible for. And then you had, and I can go over a lot more because of time, I'm not going to go over all of it. And then you have the Brooklyn Day Massacre with 30 black youth, black kids, were shot up. Hundreds of guns and knives, calls coming in for hours for the police to go help. For hours to police to go help them. And they got shot up. Two were killed, including Mrs. Gonzalez, okay, Crystal Gonzalez, daughter, Aaliyah, and Efegbemi's son, okay, and they were killed, and they got shot up. And people went down to City Hall, and Yitzi was sitting there with that smug look on his face, and what did he do? He voted. He voted for Richard Worley to put him in. The height of hypocrisy. Now in your Crimea River, everyone should be protected. I believe the Jews. My grandfather was a pastor and a preacher. I heard about the Israelis and the Israelites, and there are 10 lost tribes, people, FYI. And I studied that for years. I love the Jewish people. Are you kidding? Jesus was Jewish. And they should be protected from this horrific event. What happened? And I agree with the resolution. I believe there should have been some other folks added who are getting beat up on because of this whole thing going on in the Middle East, and it's affecting people in the United States. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing. The hypocrisy in Yitzi Schleifer. Because you voted for Richard Worley. You voted for that man to put him in. After all that went down and people were begging, do not vote, please. Please don't. And Felicia Porter, I can understand why she didn't. Those people were in her district. They got slaughtered. And Yitzi turned his back and didn't vote. So I can understand her abstaining. The other three, that's a different story. But I just had to get that out, Doc. That's what I think of that.
And well done. Well presented.
Thank you. And speaking of well presented, I'm going to give him a call right now. Hold on just a tick. I'm going to call Wendell Freeman. He's waiting for me to give him a call so he can be on. And let me go ahead and pull, because I have to pull all this stuff up. People, it gets complicated when you're doing a podcast. And
I don't know how you do it. I'm very impressed.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull him up. Okay, we're calling Wendell Freeman. He's a mayoral candidate for mayor of Baltimore City, and he was at the breakfast this.
Yes. Hello.
Okay, we've got him. Okay, we've got him on the podcast. Wendell, you're with Doc Cheatham. This is Sean Sims. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How you guys doing? My favorite people in the world, man. How y'all doing? We're doing good. Good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear you. Good to hear you. What I want to do is just before we talk to you, we're gonna have Wendell on for just about 10 minutes or so. I just wanted to get a quick shout from him as one of the mayoral candidates. But the event, the breakfast that happened this Saturday, he was there. Don Scoggins was there as well. He's running for mayor. And Keith Scott was there as well. He's running for mayor. And he did get up and say a few words. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to play something. And this is Fox 45 News and their report on the breakfast, Black Men Unifying. So I'm going to go ahead and play that right now.
Fox covered it?
Mm-hmm. If I can get it. Okay, yes, Fox did cover it. You didn't know they covered that breakfast?
I know they covered it, but I didn't know it aired.
Okay, hold on just a tick. Let me get it. No, it aired and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let me, while I'm pulling this up, Wendell, what did you think of the breakfast?
Yes, I thought the breakfast was great.
Greenmount Avenue in North Baltimore.
I definitely love the solutions that a lot of the brothers came up and said, especially the one that really got my eye was the men reading to the young men. Because a lot of our young men can't read, they can't read, they can't do some math or something like that. So that was really the one that really got me. And I actually love that idea of breaking, 100 men, 500 men. I haven't really been using it to do that.
Oh, okay, Wendell, hold on just a second. I think I got it queued up so we can hear what you had to say at that breakfast.
Gathering of the minds today with a group of men who say the juvenile crime crisis is out of control. They say accountability is needed to fix the problem. On Greenmount Avenue in North Baltimore.
Good morning, black men.
A gathering of men discussing Baltimore's juvenile crime problem.
We are a city in crisis when it comes to crime and violence.
And what can be done to get it under control.
I think we need to declare as black men that we're in a state of emergency.
That emergency spilling to the streets of Baltimore. This video shows a 12 and 14-year-old assaulting a Butcher's Hill woman. The 12-year-old arrested 13 times before for car theft. But the juvenile crime crisis is more than just stolen cars.
I came here just now. A 15-year-old just got locked up for murder. Why should a 15-year-old have a possession of a firearm? Right? Why should a 15-year-old even know how to use a gun?
That teen arrested Friday.
Shots fired alert. Location 731 West Saratoga, 6 rounds.
Accused of shooting and killing another teen in southwest Baltimore. Their cries for help captured on police dispatch. Wendell Freeman.
Yeah, my name is Wendell Freeman. I'm actually a candidate for Baltimore City Mayor.
Says his plan to combat juvenile crime, accountability.
In order to stop youth crime, we gotta hold parents accountable.
Meanwhile, as current Mayor Brandon Scott
Baltimore has a 19% reduction in homicides.
touts homicides are down, these men are not buying it.
And oh yes, crime and homicides are down in the city of Baltimore. I'd be damned.
12 juveniles have been shot and killed in Baltimore so far this year, while carjackings and robberies committed by juveniles are up 97% from this time last year.
Kids are running off the hook rate.
The kids are running off the hook. The kids are running off the hook, and you have people on Facebook. I'm not going to say any names. I will say this much, okay? I'll give a clue. This person likes to rant and rave and curse. The foulest mouth, the foulest, most visceral profanity and cursing and ignorance. And I actually gave this guy some props on the show with some issues that he had before in the past. But I'll say this much, Uncle Remus, because that's what I'm going to call. I'm not going to say his real name, Uncle Remus. You'll know what I'm talking about if you can figure out who I'm talking about. Cursing, profane, taking the name of the Lord in vain, constantly. Okay. And trust me, the big guy is not happy with that. And talking about the fact that men got together and wanted to discuss how we could help or fix what we could do as black men to alleviate the crime and what the young black men, young black boys are doing and hurting and knocking people upside the head and stealing cars and all this stuff, and how we can help them. That's what we were getting, not how we can try to find them and beat them over the head and lock them up and just all we want to do is just punish them. Yes, there should be discipline, Uncle Remus. There should be discipline. But also you have to go to the source and the crux of the matter. That's the education. They can't read. So black men were uniting and getting together, and you got a problem with Doc Cheatham because he's helping kids?
Well, I call names when folks come at me. That's the only time I call. So I want to say, folks, you need to stop listening to Ninja Scott. His profanity is alarming. His attacks on people he knows very little, if anything, about. So, when someone reaches the stage that they do harm to me and my community, I call names. Ninja Scott needs to come off Fox 45. It's an insult that he's on that show.
Yeah, Kenji Scott. Okay, Doc brought the name up. I call you Uncle Remus. But I mean, you got some serious issues. The cursing, the yelling, the screaming, and this is Facebook. But I digress. I had enough of this jag off. Wendell. Let's get back to this. Wendell Freeman. He's running for mayor. He's a young man. I believe he has some good ideas. He's a breath of fresh air as opposed to Baltimore City Council cesspool crap crud people that come out of that crap crud cesspool. Here we go again, stealing gift cards from low-income kids during Christmas. Sheesh. Anyway, I guess I'm doing a rant. But notice, Kenji, I can actually rant without cursing and having a potty mouth and profanity because I have a bigger lexicon than you do. Anyway, Wendell, with what's going on with the kids and the crime, the children as black men, as a mayor, with I say your first 100 days, what would you be looking to do in order to alleviate the violence and to help the young black men in Baltimore City? Wendell. Did we lose him? Doc, I think we lost him.
I think we did. Yes.
No, I'm sorry. I'm here.
Wendell, Wendell, you're on the podcast. People want to hear what you got to say. You got to.
I apologize. I'm going to repeat your question. I apologize.
Okay, whatever. I'm going to repeat the question. Okay. See, if this was Brandon Scott, and I was asking him a question like that, if this was Brandon Scott, knowing him, the question would have been too tough. And he probably would have hung up and left because he couldn't handle it. Oh, Antonio Hayes too. Antonio Hayes won't even come on because he's such a coward. But anyway, Wendell's still here. Okay, had some technical difficulty. But Wendell, let me go ahead and repeat the question. Okay, in regards to our black men, our black youth, our black boys who are out there hitting people upside the head, doing all types of wrong. It's not just about, hey, we just want to punish. We need there needs to be help. The school system, I mean, they can't read. The kids can't read. You got this CEO, Dr. Mengele, Santalises, and what's going on is as mayor, your first 100 days, when you get into office, if you're to get into office as the mayor, because you're not from that cesspool of the Baltimore City Council, crap, crud, cesspool, where they keep putting in and keep messing things up. If you were elected mayor, what would you do in your first 100 days to alleviate the crime and violence of our black youth and to help them get on the right path?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I got a ton of them.
Yes. So,
I'm just here is in my first 100 days is there. Day one, the first thing that I'm doing, I'm just glad to see. I not only safety, I'm investigating every nonprofit organization that has gotten money from the city. Because what happens is right now is that us hard-paying taxpaying people don't really know where our money is going. So on my first day of my administration, I'm stopping it. I'm doing a complete audit of every profit that has gotten millions of dollars from the city of Baltimore. I'm putting a whole forward until I figure out what it is going. That's the first thing that I actually would do. The second thing I would do is actually fire the CEO for the school, replace her with somebody that's going to do the job. But not just her, I would replace her with other people that, now obviously I'm going to get with my team and people, who I respect, and people that actually want to help me on this transition as mayor. But I would get with those people and put the best people in place for our children to get the proper education. I also will be revamping the education system. I believe that our education is a little outdated and it's from 50 to 60 years ago. So we have to get our children up to the 21st century, and that's also revamping the education system. My plan in there is revamping it and also putting trade back into school, driver's education, sex education, all these things that's needed. Also giving our seniors and our even kids in the middle school going to high school a career opportunity. They might be police officers, they might want to be fired, stuff like that. We got to put the program into schools to get our kids' minds into a career, not just a job. Because honestly, everybody is not going to go to college. That's the reality situation, right? But we have people, and we have programs in the school system who help them take their career. Because we can't control come from, but we can't control the education system. So that's the second thing I was doing my first 100 days. My third thing I would do is every open drug market, that all these gangs and all these people are at, I'm shutting it down. I'm dealing with our federal partners, our state partners, all these partners. We're going to get a collab agreement and get them on the table to figure out where the open drug markets are and shut it down. That's the third thing that I would use in my first 100 days as mayor of Baltimore City.
Okay, that's a lot. I mean, that's a very that's very good, Wendell. That's very aggressive. Well, I've heard, but no. What you're saying is a breath of fresh air, and I know you can only do but so much because you're one person. And I do believe we did have a talk. You let me know that you wanted to have the best minds around you, and you were going to go after the best minds, or something to that effect. But when it comes to getting all of that done, you're going to need teamwork, the best minds, and you're going to need people. This is just some advice. You're going to need people who are familiar with the gangs, familiar with these people, so that, because it's not going to be all of a sudden they're just going to be, well, not, because first of all, you don't have enough police. They're like 800 officers short. So what would happen is, and this is my advice, get the best minds and those people who know, those who are in the gangs or the leaders, and come to some type of negotiation in order to get the drugs to a point where, you know, it's reduced drastically. In an ideal world, sure, in an ideal world, no more drugs, nobody dies from disease, blah, blah, blah. That's an ideal world, but in the real world of Baltimore, you're going to need help, and you're going to need people who know people in order to help alleviate all of that. And the education systems of Santa Lisa's, I like that. The fact that you will revamp the education system. But when it comes to Baltimore City, it is a go along to get along city, and the fact that somebody coming in fresh who is not from the cesspool of the Baltimore City Council is, I don't know, how did you feel about that, Doc, as far as people coming from the Baltimore City Council having, it's like they have this lock on the mayor's office, and all they've done is just made things worse and just worsen it. A bunch of criminals and all kinds of crud comes out of that. What did you think about that?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have some responsibility ourselves that we are the individuals, the few of us that have voted, have done some disservice to all of ourselves by electing folks who talk a good game, but at the end of the day, 3.5 years, our city is in worse condition than it's ever been in. So, you know, we have some responsibility ourselves, and we gotta make that adjustment in May of next year. We need to make some wholesale changes because these elected officials have seriously failed us. And it's going to get worse, if not better, if we don't make some substantial changes.
Just quickly, what I want to do, Wendell, you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Mr.
Okay. This is what I want to do. I'm going to play. This was out about 7 years ago, and this was in regards to the fox wanting to get back into the chicken coop, talking about Miss Dixon, with the pink. I'm talking about the geriatric black Barbie with the pink, Sheila Dixon. I don't get, who does she think she is with this pink? She thinks she's No, this is what it is. This is what it is. You've got geriatric black Barbie, Sheila Dixon, with the new set is coming out from Mattel. It's called Geriatric Black Barbie, and she's got the pink, and she's got the briefcase, and in the briefcase she's got stacks and stacks and stacks of gift cards. Okay, that's what it comes with from Mattel. But let me go on. Outsiders. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull this up. I want you to comment on this.
Sheila Dixon, we need to talk.
I see where you're running for mayor again, but I remember last time.
You stole money meant for poor folks. Stole money meant for poor folks at Christmas.
You put fur coats and expensive shoes above us. Forgive you, Sheila.
I forgive you.
I forgive you, Sheila.
We forgive you, but we won't reward you. We forgive you, but we won't reward you.
I forgive you, Sheila.
I forgive you.
We forgive you. But you cannot be mayor again. You cannot be mayor again.
Giving isn't forgetting.
Clean Slate Baltimore PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. Okay.
That's on YouTube?
Yeah,
Wow.
yes, it is. I pulled that from YouTube. I said, whoa. But you can't be mayor again. Yeah, I agree. And this was 7 years ago when she had her, which try? She's tried 4 times. She succeeded once, and this is her 3rd after the success, so this is her 4th time running. Wendell, what do you think about people who are running for mayor, not just Dixon, but people who have done corrupt things?
Thanks for the question. Me, right? But I also say that, everyone needs to be held accountable who does corruption. And that's just in general. Everyone needs to be held accountable for corruption because it's just not right. We live in the corrupt city that's been going corrupt longer than I've been alive. I'm only, 28, I'll be 29 December 17th, but, corruption has been going on longer than I've been alive. So, anyone who does corruption, no respect. I don't know Sheila personally. I really don't want to get to know her personally, but I'm just talking about as mayor and as he's done. I don't even understand why people think it's acceptable to even vote for somebody who stole from the homeless. Or better yet, is a felon. It just doesn't make any sense. And she needs to be held accountable. Everyone needs to be held accountable for corruption because it will not be tolerated under my administration.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, and this situation with people who are running backdoor deals, BGE, backdoor deals, I don't know how this goes on. I mean, I don't know how people bring themselves to vote for Brandon Scott, scumbag Baltimore City Council president, scumbag mayor, or Sheila Dixon. She's a embezzler, convicted embezzler, 12 indictments. They let her off. They let her off with the other indictments. There were 12. Because I guess they wanted to make sure she got her $83,000 pension plan in place. They call me, I came off my private life. I want to come back my private life. I don't believe that for a second. Strong mayor system wants to be in court. But Wendell, thanks for coming on the outside. I really appreciate it. And the fact that you were at the Black Men Unifying Black Men. You're a brother that I believe really actually cares about people, unlike some other people. And I look forward to having you back on the show again. Doc, what do you think of Wendell?
And I'm very impressed with his dialogue. I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. I'm hoping he will be one of the many elected officials, candidates that we have invited on the 19th of December at 11 o'clock a.m. to talk about the state of emergency. We're asking all of the candidates, especially mayoral, president of city council, and controller. So we're hoping and praying that he will be there, but we're looking forward to hearing more outstanding young folks that we have that are seeking office, because this is what we need. We need a major change, a major improvement, and yes. I think this is a possibility. This young man might be one of those that we need to elect. And
what did you tell me on Saturday about him giving you the survey?
What I said and said it publicly, I have had 8 people do the questionnaire, and I'm very pleased to say that out of the, I think it's 15 to 16 questions, he received a grade of A+.
He said he got a 100. I was like, he got 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it really adds up to more than 100. 100, of course, is best you can get, but he overdid that.
Wow. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Wendell?
I was trying to hear about that because, like I said, I wanted to give it to Dr. Person because I wanted him to know that I'm a serious candidate. Because like I said, I'm a young man. People are, you could be doing a lot of things. So like, why you want to run for mayor? You could be, doing a lot of things. But I love my city. I love Baltimore. I love women, and I cannot continue to allow the disinvestment, especially in our black and brown people, to keep going on. So I appreciate you fellas so much. Thank y'all for your time, man. I appreciate
Wendell.
You guys really, really soon.
Thanks for coming on. Take care.
As well.
Okay.
Thank y'all. Y'all take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. Wow. See, now, this young man, I'm a good judge of people, I believe. Discernment. I have a strong spirit of discernment. It's a gift. And the other candidates, I believe that other than Sheila and Brandon, who are both embarrassments, and it's really funny when Brandon calls Sheila an embarrassment. You talk about the pot calling the kettle black. So I believe that the other candidates should be looked at seriously and taken seriously. This poll they just had come out, but from some DC company, some DC pollsters did a poll. First of all, it's old. It's October. This poll was done in October, and it was a limited poll, and I believe it was skewed for Sheila. That's what I believe. I know all about polls. I know how you ask the questions. You can have a poll. I do agree with Brandon on this. I don't agree with him on much, but I agree with him on this. You can make a poll, say whatever you want it to say. By the way you ask the question, the sample group, the area where you ask the questions of your sample group, where they live. I could go on and on and on. I've studied this poll. I actually had classes in college.
I would say this, that my field of retirement of 42 years was in the area of elections. I really would say this, polls are, good when you look at the end of the day, who really has been polled. But I would say the poll that has come out on two different cases dealing with the mayor, we have to understand very clearly that less than 25% of the candidates that will be running have even filed yet. They haven't filed yet. And, to do a poll, I don't want to take anything away from the ability to do the poll. But when the majority of people that are going to run for positions haven't even filed yet, why are you really doing a poll? Are you really expecting us to believe the poll 100% unless the 25 people have filed?
Exactly. The
poll. I think there's a possibility some of these candidates, as I am recommending, need to look at running for a less higher position and running for, say, for instance, the city council.
Oh, boy.
I'm saying very candidly, some of these candidates are very impressionable, but to run for mayor and you can't get 1 or 2% of the people to vote for you, then why don't you go to a position a little bit lower? And I'm hoping when we get to the new year, some of these candidates will realize their possibility of winning is not as great as it would be if they look at a lower position.
Well, that's a good strategy for some of the candidates to look at doing. That's good advice. But Sheila and Brandon, this is what, and I'm going to give you, all of you, because I know they listen to the show. They get the show, they listen to The Outsiders, because we have the inside information. And this is the most insightful show in Baltimore on any venue, period. And this is
really trying to tell it like it is. We're really trying to bring you the information that you may not have, but bring it to you as truthfully as we possibly can.
Exactly, and have some fun in doing it with some humor as well, because so it's not Dullsville. So you're not listening, falling asleep. Like, like I'm not going to mention others out there dull as dishwater. But you're actually going to enjoy it. It's not going to be dull and boring. Oh, here's the information. This is what's going on. Hey, somebody give me somebody wake me up. But But we do it in a way, it's not, you know, like watching paint dry. It's not dull and boring. It's fun. And I will pick fun with people, especially Brandon, the stunts he does, and Sheila with the pink and the Barbie doll and all that, and the briefcase. Yeah, because we're going to bring you the news and we're going to have fun doing it. And I want you to enjoy listening to what we're saying, but more importantly, that you learn and see and understand that what you're being told is not exactly how things are really going. You're not getting all the information. So that's what The Outsiders is for. And this thing going on, because I'm gonna segue into this. Speaking of city council, speaking of the cesspool, let's focus on a city council member. This young man must have lost his cotton picking mind. I spoke to Mary Hughes, James Torrence. I got the email, James Torrence. I sent out my response, James Torrence. You got it. You were carbon copied, so were Quasi and Fume was carbon copied. A bunch of other people were carbon copied as well. P.M. Smith was carbon copied. Pastor Gwynn was carbon copied. There was a whole bunch of people who were carbon copied. Doc, I'm going to let you... There is a letter, and Doc, could you tell the folks what's going on with Councilman James Torrence?
Well, sadly enough, many of us have received an email coming from Mary Hughes, the wife of one of our outstanding former state senators, but I would say in her own rights, has done a great deal on behalf of citizens of Baltimore. And you know, we all from time to time have disagreements on issues that we are confronted with. But to step so low, as has been documented by the response that Ms. Mary Hughes has sent out for the City Councilman James Torrence to indicate in writing, and we have no reason not to believe what she has espoused in this email, that he, in essence, because they were vehemently disagreeing, has really threatened her. You know, he said, this is it. You know, I'm taking my gloves off, or whatever way he put it. But I think it's sad, when you have elected officials that are not connected with the very own communities that they represent, and because you disagree with them, you find an opportunity to say things that should not be said. And this is not the first time that one of our females had been, attacked verbally by this councilman. But I think it's sad when you reach to the level that he did. And, I'm one, trying to be as candid as I can. I'm too old to pussyfoot around. I'm one of the number of people that we're assuming are going to ask for his resignation. An apology is not going to be accepted. What you said and did to this senior citizen, outstanding young lady, is unforgivable. And I think the best way for us to deal with that is to ask for his resignation. And I think a number of community leaders, we're hoping some of the community presidents will not be reluctant to tell the truth. This guy has done us a great disservice. I listed 10 items where he is missing in action on major issues in Baltimore City for the 3.5 years he's been in office. And I'm saying very candidly, folks, we at some point have to say enough is enough already. You've done what you've done, good. We're asking you to step down, and we're hoping that's going to be something before the end of December, that a number of us will come together and ask this individual to step down, or let's go to the city council president and the council and actually ask them to take action against him, or bring him before the council to explain the injustice that he did to the senior citizen and threatening her.
Well, I wrote that he should, as a representative, he disbarred himself by doing that. Not just all the other nonsense that goes on with James Torrence, And I've been involved in several of those email threads as well. So I can speak to this because of some of the things that he put in those emails about what was said, and he's telling people that he sent me emails about certain information and all this. I say, okay, Ace, you wanna involve me, James? I've had lawyers for breakfast, trust and believe, over my life. You're just another one, another knucklehead who's got a law degree, and you think you're such hot stuff. No, you're not hot stuff. You're a disgrace. And then you're going to threaten a senior woman, a black senior woman. You're going to threaten her? You think you're some kind of tough guy threatening women? Older women, senior women?
Yes, we're talking about James Torrence, in case you're just cutting in on us. You know, we're saying a real injustice has been done. And sometimes you got to pay the piper for the wrong that you have done. And, you know, I'm sad to say, you know, this is my councilman. He's been in office. I asked only one thing of him the entire time he's been in office, and that was in April. This is December. And guess what? The one little long request that we have made as a community, he hasn't even come back to tell us that he ain't going to do it. He just ignores us. And I think many of us community representatives are finding that his way of responding to you is not to respond at all.
Yeah, because he's a coward. He likes to pick on older women because he's a coward. I'm going to take the gloves off. There's not going to be any more grace. Really? Who the hell do you think you are? Have you lost your cotton picking mind? Yeah, and Nick Mosby, the president of the Baltimore City Council, the cesspool I was just speaking of earlier, he was carbon copied as well. So what are you going to do about it, Nick? Huh? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this knucklehead? What are you going to do about this? Or are you cool with it? Is that okay with you? Is that how the Baltimore City Council rolls? This is Baltimore City. We're thug like that at the Baltimore City Council. That's how we roll. Is that what you're going to do, Nick? What are you going to do? See, I'm curious to see what Nick's going to do, because Nick's running for president again against Zeke Cohen. And Zeke, now I'm thinking about it, what are you going to do about it? Is that okay with you too, Zeke?
We have another candidate that has stepped into the race officially, because I talk about those officially in the sense that they in fact have filed, and Shannon Sharp has filed.
Oh, you mean Snead? Shannon Sharp used to play for the Ravens.
Yeah,
no, you thinking?
I think about the football player.
I understand. I understand with all this going on with the Ravens and all. But this Shannon Snead, I saw an interview of her, and I'm not. I mean, some of the things she was saying, but I wasn't impressed. Sorry, Shannon. I know people. I have acquaintances, friends and acquaintances. I'm combining the words. Who know her, and they like her. But I saw the interview. That's all I'll say. I watched it, and I was like, okay. I was a little annoyed, actually, at the interview. But just a smidge annoyed, but that's all I'm going to say. That's just my opinion. Other people may like her. I don't think she has a frozen snowball's chance to win. That's just the way from what I see. I don't know. Maybe she'll run a really, really good campaign. She's got some type of Karl Rove, brilliant mind behind her that could do some things and shoot her up, and so she can skyrocket and make it a race. But, we'll see.
I think when January comes around, many of the candidates will have filed by that point, at least after the Christmas break, and then we'll begin to see some platforms. I don't mind telling folks that we do have a questionnaire that we're giving to anyone who wants to come to our community and present their platform. We would love to have you. But there are some tough questions, and those questions can be applicable to you in other city council districts. We just don't think because someone belongs to a particular fraternity, a sorority, belongs to a particular union, belongs to a particular party, that necessarily is the reason that you should vote for them. There's simply a reason why you should want to vote for them. And we've actually identified some outstanding issues that we think if you do them yourself, you will help yourself determine whether or not this person is really qualified to even run. So, folks, next year is got to be an important year.
Yes, it is.
But let's not count our chickens before we have them, because some of them haven't even filed for office yet.
No, they haven't, and we're going to keep a watch on all of that. And this James Torrance business, we're going to see. But the resignation, I think he needs to step down. No, I take that back. He needs to step down. He's a disgrace, a misogynist. That's the word, misogynist. But let's go ahead. I got to talk about this. We had him on a few weeks ago, Bishop Barry Chapman. And he was talking about, I don't know if you remember this, Doc, he was talking about bird poop. I did an interview with Bishop. I believe you heard the show, of course. Doc wasn't on that show. Were you on that show? I don't think you were on that. I did the interview. You were on the show, but I had to do the interview with him because of his schedule. Bishop's a very busy man. But anyway, he was talking about the bird poop and health issues and safety issues at the circuit. Here we go again, the circuit court. Oh, and City Hall has some issues going on too that are internal. I'm getting more information on it, and it's getting disturbing. I can't get into it now because I haven't gotten all the information yet. But City Hall, problems. But I'll go back to what we were talking about. I digress. The circuit court, the netting. He was talking about this netting. They spent all this money to protect the citizens and the employees in this antiquated building. And I was down there this week and took pictures, Doc. I'm going to send you the pictures. I thought I sent them to you. I forgot. And the net, Doc, all around the building, the netting was down. If the net's down and they were put up to protect the people from bird poop, and the net's down, I'm going to have to assume QED, thus it is proven, there's bird poop in the air system. Doc, what do you think of that?
Well, I have a suggestion, and I'm glad that we have this show because it can now be documented. The recommendation that I am making, I know that no one else has publicly made anything close to it, but I want folks to know that it's coming from a senior citizen named Doc Cheatham, a little more than 70-some years of age. But I have a recommendation because I think the two buildings that we have, not only are they antiquated, but I think they are health challenging. And I have a recommendation I am giving today. I hope that the mayor and his people here and everyone that knows how seriously I am about Baltimore City, here's my recommendation. There is question to believe what can we do with the Hilton Hotel. I, Marvin Doc Cheatham, is recommending that we take the Hilton Hotel, which is not being used, that the Hilton Hotel would become the location for the two courthouses.
Yeah, that's interesting. The architecture on that and the schematics and the setup on how that would be done. Yeah, why not take a look? I think that's a good option.
We need a new location. Mm-hmm. The building has outused itself, the two courthouses, and we just don't want to say, well, yes, Martin O'Malley, his idea has lost us millions of dollars because of that hotel. And I'm saying, rather than just tear it down, we want to be downtown. Why not use the Hilton Hotel and make that the two locations for the courthouse? Why
not? I mean, I can't see where that could not be done. That's a good idea, Doc. I like that. You're thinking outside the box. Yeah, I like that idea because the health issues that's going on at the circuit court, now you got bird poop, the nets are down again. I got the pictures. I'm going to be sending them out to the mayor and everyone else of what's going on. I did already send them to Bishop Barry Chapman as well. And the health issues and the civil rights issues, mental health, what's going on down there. with the firing and the way people are being treated, and Bishop went over that in detail. And I'm hearing there's more stuff going on as well. This is not going away. And the people being locked up in the courthouse during an anthrax fentanyl biohazard threat, locked them up, kept them in the courthouse while all this, and did it twice, not once, twice. And this guy, I've got people, friends, connections, whatever you want to call them, all over the city, all over the state, all over. And it got back to me that people are jumping ship at the sheriff's office, who's supposed to be backing up and helping the police. The police are already, what, 800 officers short? So how are you gonna fight crime if you're 800 plus officers short? Pastor Gwynn, he told me they got about maybe even more than that. So he was interviewed. Sam Cogan was interviewed by Carl Stokes. I can consider Carl a buddy of mine at this point. And he was interviewed by Carl Stokes this past week. And I want everybody to hear this interview about what Sam said, and then we're going to have a rebuttal. Doc and I are going to talk about it briefly, and then we're going to have a rebuttal by Kim Banks with her Banks report. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Cue up number 3.
Deputies, and they've been working for less than a year. And Sam, Sheriff, how are you this morning? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on, and good morning to you, and good morning to your listeners. Yes, absolutely. So, Sheriff, let's get right to it. You've been there less than a year. Tell me what your men and women, your deputies, and you have been able to accomplish in these early months. Great. Yeah, so actually, it was 1 year yesterday. Oh, boy, 1 year yesterday. Those deputies out. I do a lot of the festivals. I'll be at the parade on Sunday in Hampton. So I do a lot of the festivals because I like to eat and have fun. Lots of things. I've seen your men and women out there, and as much as possible, not as much as possible, say hello. And they're wonderful representatives of the city. They are always saying hello. Let me ask you this: do you have a deputy shortage? What's going on with that? Yeah, so just like everywhere else, and this is a national issue.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Carl Stokes asked Sheriff Cogan, do you have a deputy shortage? I know he does, because people are getting out of there. They're leaving. I even sent him a letter. This is well before this interview. Several days before this interview, I sent Sheriff Cogan a letter asking, hey, what's going on? I hear people are leaving. He didn't respond back, but let me continue with this interview with Carl Stokes on WBL.
And I actually don't, it's not that you didn't have a deputy shortage, but it's difficult to hire law enforcement officers now. And part of that is...
Yeah, they want to work for you. That makes it difficult see, what happens is, because I have friends that are in the police force that were at the sheriff's office and in other agencies, I'll just leave it at that. And your reputation, it gets around, Doc. That community, they talk, they're tight. And they find out this guy's acting like a jagoff. He's a new sheriff, and he's doing all kinds of things. And they find out about it. They don't want to go work for this guy. That's what happens. Of course, he's not going to say that because he's like, what? He's like Wally Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. Sam's a nice guy, and he speaks well. Yes, Sam. Okay, Sam. Everything's fine. Yes, well, Mrs. Cleaver, you sure look nice today, like Eddie Haskell. So people hear him, and they think, oh, his stuff doesn't stink. No, there's more there than meets the eye with Sam. Let me go on.
That we're expecting more of our law enforcement officers. Like, we can't have people coming in and doing corrupted acts and hurting the citizenry, and we have to hold them to a...
Okay, so now it's not his fault that people are leaving. It's because they're corrupt people. So now he's saying that they're bad people. Okay, so he's putting the onus on the deputies that are leaving. Let me continue.
Much higher standard.
Go, you know, you'll get it out, Sam. Get it out.
The sort of narrows down who we can bring in, and so nationally we're seeing that. So right now we're supposed to have certain complement of deputies, and we're about 25% short of. Wow, 25% short. Wow. Correct.
We're talking to Sam Cogan, Baltimore City Sheriff, who has been on the job now for 1 year as of yesterday, and this is Carl Stokes sitting in for TJ's. And he's telling us that he has a deputy shortage of as much as 25% of his assigned being a full complement.
Yeah, you hear that, Doc? It's 25%. 25%. Sure. And I asked him for the numbers because I don't want percentages, man. Who do you think you're talking to? See, with me and Carl, he great question. 25%. 25% of what? What 25% of what?
I have two questions concerning two officers, and they keep throwing out these numbers. And to me, the numbers can be substantiated very easily by looking at the city budget and looking at how many people got paid and determine whether or not the numbers that the police commissioner is given, the numbers that the sheriff is given, you know, everybody say, oh, well, we can't get the work done, we don't have sufficient enough officers, and I believe them. But I don't think the numbers they are giving us can be substantiated, and it can be substantiated very easily by showing the budget and how many people got paid for the police department, how many people got paid for the sheriff's office, because you can determine how many people actually got paid. I think both the sheriff and the commissioner are not giving us a true story as to how many people they don't have that they came into office with. I'm not disagreeing with them. I'm just saying nobody has substantiated. Everybody, including the state's attorney, everybody's crying, oh, I don't have the employees that I once had. Well, how do you substantiate it other than showing the budget and how many people's names and addresses are listed as to who got paid?
I agree. If don't talk about you don't have this and you don't have that, and then it's all over the country. Wham, wham, wham. You know, here's a tissue for your issue.
I heard the police commissioner said he's missing 1,000 people.
Oh, now he's saying 1,000. They were saying what, 400, 500. Then the number keeps going up.
I heard on one of the stations 1,000, and I'm saying, you know, I'm not challenging the numbers that they have. I'm challenging where are they basing this data from.
Yeah.
If you don't base it from the number of salaried people and you have names and addresses of where these people were living, I think all of the state's attorney, the sheriff's office, and the police commissioner are not giving us the whole story because nobody's substantiating where to get the numbers from.
Exactly. So you're saying that, then I really don't, if somebody's telling me something and they're giving me numbers, like, the show me state. No, show me. I'm not going to say that you're lying or that you're making stuff up. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is, until I see the information, the numbers, till I get that, I can't really go with what you're saying. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care what position you were elected in or appointed to. It doesn't mean anything to me when you come to me, and the citizens should feel the same way and stop taking this crap from these people until you show me.
Here's the rest of the story by Paul Harvey. Why did you seek a position knowing you didn't have enough people? Why would you do that to yourself? If you went into office seeking a job and seeking responsibility, you should have known ahead of time what you had to deal with. And whether or not you were capable of giving us what you were promising to give us. And I'm saying, state's attorney, sheriff's office, police commissioner, you all knew what you got into. Why are you crying now about you don't have enough people? Damn it, you should have known that when you ran for office.
They had to have known it. They have to have known it because Cogan's been with the sheriff office more than 20 years, and then Worley's been with the police department for more than 20 years, and then of course Bates, he's worked with the state's attorney's office, and they knew all of that. They knew all of that. People like to have that power. They like to have that power, that position. They love it. They love it. And then they get in, and then they start changing. Or maybe they didn't change. They were like that. They were hiding who they really were. But unless you show it, sing it. Don't bring it. Bring it. Don't sing it. Okay? Don't tell me you down 25%. And let me finish the rest, because you got to hear what else he says. Let me go ahead and finish.
Right, and that was pretty much where we were when I took office. Okay. And so...
Wait, stop. Stop that. Stop. Hold it. You did what? You're saying it was 25% down when you took office. Show me. Sam, show me the amount of people you had in there, because I asked it in the email. Show me how many people were in there when Anderson left and how many people are there now, because you just said it hasn't changed. It's the same. Doc, did you hear him say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He said it's the same. So this is where I'm going with this hotshot. And Sam and I used to be, I thought he was a cool guy until I found out some things. And then he doesn't respond. So I really don't give a rip. Just do your job right and treat people the way you should.
I'm still holding out my feelings about him at this point. He did come, and I commend him and his deputy for coming to the Matthew Henson community meeting 2 meetings ago. I did give him one document that I'm looking for a response to. And that issue is, and I think every community that is suffering as my community is with open-air drug markets, I gave him a list of the open-air drug markets and where they are. I'm still waiting for a response from him as to what he's going to do.
How long ago was that?
I've given him the names and addresses of the open-air drug markets, and all I'm asking for is, what are you going to do about it?
How long ago did you give that to him?
2 months ago.
Oh, it's been 2 months, so you need more time, huh?
Got witnesses in the community that were there when they saw me hand it to him and his deputy. We gave him a list of not only our crime plan that has been successful, but now we now have 18.7 increase in homicides. Baltimore City. I don't care what y'all hearing on TV. They all are not telling you the truth.
Of course they're not.
The newspapers are not telling you the truth. There is one police district where the homicide rate has gone up, not down. The Western District homicides from 2022 to 2023, they have gone up 18.7% the number of homicides. So I don't give a damn what all these newspapers and TV people are telling you. Tell them Don Cheatham said, you all are lying, you're not telling the truth. There's an 18.7 increase in homicides in the Western District this year over last year. All you gotta do is look in the Sun paper.
You know what else they're not telling the truth about? It's not just homicides, it's assaults. That means you're assaulted in Baltimore City. The number of assaults in Baltimore City, Doc, it's over 13,000. Let that number sink in,
What would you
folks.
say is the biggest alarming number that is affecting us in Baltimore City? And no, it is not the 15,000 vacant and boarded up houses.
No, you've got
the most alarming number in Baltimore City that you don't hear day to day. It is the largest number that we could ever have. The number of deaths through overdose.
Oh yeah, it must. How can we lest we forget that?
We're not even discussing it.
No,
Is that not
they're
a
not.
health issue?
That's a health issue. That's a major
We're
health
not
issue.
discussing it.
Because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about what's really going on in Baltimore. They hide it. It's like a cover-up, this big giant cover-up.
I'm sitting in my car right now. I have in 2 places in the car. Where my car is, the inside of the car, in the back of my car, I had 2 boxes of dope usage, so that when I find someone I'm riding through the street, Narcan, I can go right into my car. I've done 8 people and brought them back by giving them Narcan because they had overdosed.
Wow.
Okay? I've done 8.
How long, and what, was this year?
I'm hoping I don't have to do anymore. And I messed up because yesterday I should have gone to the help truck that's near me because that's where I get my supply, because I think I'm down to 2 boxes now. I've done 8 people to bring them back to life because they had overdosed.
Was it this year?
This year.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to
I ain't talking
do the
about
time
last
frame.
year. I'm talking about
Yeah,
this
so
year.
that's in just for this year, 8 people. Well, because the drug problem is prevalent here, and I want to, because I got to get to this, because what's going on. This union that's going on, because again, we're going to be Ask Me. I'm going to be getting in touch with the international president of Ask Me, and how they're not protecting. This net's down, this bird poop's back in, the health system going on, the civil rights, all of the being stripped. And people can't, hey Doc, they won't let people go to the bathroom, Doc. I just found that out. They're stopping people who are working at the circuit court from using the John. I'm not making this up. It's getting ready. I don't know how, I don't know how this is going to go. So this is like a plantation. They tell you when you can go, you can't use the bathroom. This is the type of stuff that's going on down here. And this union asked me, because that's what I'm going to call them, because they have no testicular fortitude. None. Ask me, the union, none. If you go to kick them in the balls, it's not going to feel anything because they got little tiny BB balls. BB balls, ask me, union. That's what they have. A bunch of geldings. They're not even protecting the people. Why do you even have this union? You're paying them dues, and these people are running roughshod over you.
If I were NAACP president right now, I would use a ploy that hasn't been used in a while, but I think it would work. I would say get the union and the employees that work in the building to all agree to one thing. We're going to have one particular day when we ask the members of the city council, who are merely 2 blocks down the street, to come and do a walkthrough through the 2 courthouses. It ain't but 2 blocks away. This is another recommendation coming from Doc C.
I like it.
Get the employees and the union to say, we're going to pick a particular day, and we're going to ask the members of the city council to walk from Holiday Street up to Fayette Street and Cathedral Street and take a walk through to see the 2 courthouses that we have, and we'll tell you what's going on in both buildings.
I like that. We're going to jump all over that. I'm going to talk to Bishop about that as well. And
tell Bishop he owe me a 12-ounce soda.
A 12-ounce soda. I don't know what did you guys have, a wager? Did you 2 have some kind of wager? Okay, I'm gonna tell him that. He'll probably hear it on the show.
You know, I'm a big-time gambler.
Riverboat gambler. But I'm going to go ahead and, are you going to stick to hear the Banks report? Is allowed a 10-minute report, or you got to leave?
I want to get educated, because what's happening there, it's almost a believe it or not story. It's like the Ripley's Believe It or Not. Is it really that bad?
Is it really that bad? Well, she has a rebuttal on Sam Cogan and his excuses and his reasons why the people are jumping ship. Deputies are jumping ship from the sheriff's office. So let me go ahead and cue it up. This is the Banks report.
I barely managed to listen to Sheriff Sam Cogan's interview with Carl Stokes today, Friday, December the 1st, 2023, without vomiting from the nausea I felt in Cogan's lies. The citizens of Baltimore City, including myself, voted in Sam Cogan as our new sheriff. I personally held him with high regard and witnessed nothing to suggest anything different. He and I frequently passed one another in the hallways of the Mitchell Circuit Courthouse for Baltimore City. There was always a greeting of pleasantries. Now, I am more familiar with fake, phony, and vindictive personas than I care to be. As an employee of both the Mitchell and Cummings courthouses, I have suffocated the polluted environment for years. During the last campaign for the primary elections, there had been discussion of Sam and I running as a team to promote one another. He for sheriff and I for clerk of the court, and hopefully partner with another candidate running for another office. It was a way to promote unity between all these different departments, because it's true that the sheriff needs to work alongside the clerk of the court and other agencies such as the state's attorney's office. Everybody needs to work in unison and to know what everybody is doing and to be on the same page. So it seemed at the time that that was a brilliant idea, and it still is. Not necessarily when you're running for a position, but it's never too late for heads of different departments, different agencies to come together and brainstorm together and be on the same page. It's all for the benefit of the city. Nothing concrete came of our discussions, but I continued to hold him in high regards up to the moment I voted for him. For reasons unknown, I would discover that he aligned himself with the candidate who defeated me, Xavier Washington Conaway, soon to be Dixon. Okay, because he takes the last name of whatever mother figure, he is being mentored by. So, he's on Sheila Dixon's team. Hopefully she won't win and become mayor. I don't think she's the best candidate. No. But if she were to become the mayor, he would take that last name of Dixon and probably, grab onto the bottom of her skirt and swing around. But anyway, moving on. The two of them, meaning Xavier Washington Conaway Dixon and Sam Cogan, hatched a plan to justify my being fired. And Sheriff Cogan abused his power by overstepping his jurisdiction over a state judicial employee. Now I can put all of that aside and still label him a corrupt, shameful, and incompetent person. More importantly, a public servant. I have developed professional relationships with the sheriff deputies under his leadership. I'm aware of what politics govern that department. Prior to his appointment and a year after, the climate of the sheriff's office has always been of low morale. The department is divided by a state side of deputies who are paid more than the city/courtside deputies. However, too much is given, much is also expected. The sheriff says that his department is down 25% of staff, of the staff that is needed to function in full capacity. I suggest that it is probably far more than 25%. Stateside deputies have always been forced to work double duty and are often called from the streets of serving warrants, issuing summonses, and arresting and transporting citizens to also work within the courthouses. So yes, in addition to their having to go out on the street and work alongside police officers, they also sometimes have to come in off the street and work within the courthouses to operate the courtrooms, secure the entrances and exits. Court security deputies who are underpaid and lack the same perks and the advantages of the stateside deputies frequently call out of work. Lunch breaks and opportunities for overtime aren't fairly distributed. Promotions aren't based on performance, but favoritism. The sheriff's office is funded by our dollars. The citizens of Baltimore are his boss. His statement that positions are hard to fill because of unattractive salaries is not true. Yes, I'm certain that they want more money, but what will bring them to work consistently is fair, respectful treatment and a sincere acknowledgement and reward for the service they provide. Our stateside and courtside deputies, I feel, are more in danger than our police officers because the sheriffs have more varied responsibilities. This city is broken, and our citizens are the product of their brokenness. In turn, the substance abuse and mental illness creates hostile homes and neighborhoods in which these prized deputies work. A special leader is required for those special servants. The same is true for our police officers. The morale is at an all-time low. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Sam Cogan is unable to staff his department. Don't be fooled by his polite smile and his words of gratitude for your tax dollars. Pull that fake skin off and accept what lies beneath the surface. Accept it. Don't run from it. Don't try to make excuses for it. It is what it is. He is as much a fraud as most of our politicians. The fact that he trapped citizens and employees in a courthouse with a possible anthrax, fentanyl, possible lethal powder of some sort speaks volumes for his respect of Baltimore City. And then lied about it. Lied about, the fact that he didn't follow the protocol and did not put his best foot forward. When we make mistakes, you just face it. It's been a while. COVID really changed everything and threw us off our game. So we really do have to go back to reading what the procedures and the protocol is for so many things. Now, if he is incapable of staffing his department, what can be done when an urgent warrant, summons, or body attachment needs to be served? And with what kind of an employee attitude and behavior will it be served? Because we're talking about employees who are overworked and underpaid. I own my mistakes, my errors, and will accept reprimands as long as they are fair and justified. What I will not ever accept is illegality, corruption, and outright lies. Now, Baltimore, who are you? And what will you stand for? I've always been a champion of my people, ready and willing to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. I agree with Sean, that needs to be done, absolutely. There are people who can't because they're in a vulnerable position or maybe don't know how. But there are those of us who know better or feel more comfortable with it. So yes, then that's the time for us to step forward and help our brothers and sisters out, our peers, our comrades. But those of you who are just lazy and selfish, giving mouth service to what needs to be done, what should be done, what you will and won't stand for, waiting for someone else to fight your battles while you sit pretty and playing it safe, I'm telling you, you will reap what you strive for. This is Kim Banks for The Outsiders.
Wow, she really brought that. I don't think she pulled any punch. Hey, Kim, tell us how you really feel. I mean, woo. She's saying that it's a fraud. That basically, Cogan's a fraud. He's not who he says he is. Doctor, what do you think of that?
I think that was heavy. I can't think of a better word than that was heavy. And all I can say is we need to stay tuned for the rest of the story, because I think it's going to get worse as we go further on during these terms that these people are in office, because we don't have the capabilities of removing them other than voting them out. We don't have recall yet. We're hoping that we will be able to vote on whether we have recall. But I'm going to stay tuned, because I think we're going to hear the rest of the story.
Oh, there's more coming. I'm well aware of certain things that are going on down there, and there's more coming. I'm going to be taking a deep dive. I'm going to be getting in touch again with the circuit court and Bishop, myself, and I believe, Doc, you're going to be on board with us. The Three Musketeers.
There goes the neighborhood.
There's going to be some kind of triple threat. Okay, so all you out there who are misbehaving and doing all this and stripping people of their rights and all this other nonsense that's going on, I got to say one thing. I've been saying it from day one, and I'm going to keep saying it. We're the Outsiders, and we're here to do two things: chew bubble gum and kick ass, and we're all out of bubble gum. That's been another episode of The Outsiders. Doc, thanks again. Fantastic work, as usual, as always. And as we get the message out, and we can continue doing what we're doing, Doc. So thanks a lot.
God bless, thank you, and season greetings to everyone.
Okay, take care.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.